So I have some notes. Let's check. The way, because I'm a historian, right? And historians study trends over time. That's what makes historians also people that study history can also be relatable in finance, because you are analyzing trends over time. You are studying the past, observing the present in order to try to predict the future. You know what I'm saying? So you can change historical data with financial data, and the same methodology applies. So if you're ever curious about like, oh, what should I go to school for? If you wanted to go to school, history is an undergraduate degree. So reality show with commercial breaks. That is sort of the theology behind what we see with most personal brands and content being put out. That at the end of the day, something that I've stolen from people like Brandon Carter and Ryan Magan is the idea of majority of the content we put out is designed, or sorry, majority of the content we consume is designed to be entertaining, because that's why we're on these platforms, because we're looking for distractions and entertainment. Now, granted, very few people might curate their algorithm. If you're smart about it, you can curate your algorithm to give you educational content, because it knows what you like, it knows what you watch, and it studies that. So if you're constantly studying all these nutritional pages and fitness pages, you're going to get constantly recommended all these fitness pages and nutritional pages, right? But most people don't do that. Most people are there to watch dumb things, so they constantly get recommended dumb things. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, in order to shift through that and create something that becomes sort of long lasting, the reality show with commercial breaks, that is what the envision behind Unfiltered Vitamin Z podcast was a of showing different projects and showing different things that I'll be working on. But the commercial breaks of, cool, if you've seen me talk about 1, 2, and 3 for a minute, and now I've delivered a product based off the conversations that I've been talking about, right? One of that methodology I stole was teaching men's fashion. Constantly made content on the content channel teaching men's fashion, but then eventually made products that curated to the audience and topics that he was constantly discussing. So the sunglasses like these, Jade Black, I think he made cologne too, Santa Lucia, I believe it was. He made a sweat brand or a casual clothing brand, Essentials, because it made sense, right? Essentially, you keep making that content, you figure out what the audience is watching, what the audience is noticing, and what you are about, and you start to deliver something that is a solution to a problem you've been discussing. He's been discussing how can guys elevate their fashion. Okay, here's a solution to that problem. You need cool sunglasses that are affordable and still great quality. Boom, Jade Black. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you look good, but you smell bad. That don't work. You gotta smell good and dress good. Boom. Here's a clone. So for me, the 80% of sort of the reality show, because that's what people like. They like the trash reality shows, and they like to get glimpses into people's lives and shit like that. And for me, the hobbies and interests, the things that I like to discuss, obviously has shifted a little bit, but it's still core. I still like entertainment in terms of movies, especially music, right? We talked about song lyrics and poems and things like that. So music, I always like traveling, history, geopolitics, right? International scientific relations, a realm of observing the global landscape and the political landscape together, right? A global study perspective through the lens of science, tech, and innovation. All these different topics of conversation not only are relatable to the world issues or the global agenda in terms of what's occurring, but it's also relatable on the micro. For example, when you understand and look at AI and tech and how it's affecting the countries, you start to figure out, okay, how can that affect people? How can people capitalize on that? Because at the end of the day, if we're constantly studying problems, within those problems, there are solutions that we can take action on. Because if we're going to constantly focus on things we can't control, you're going to go into the spiral downward cycle of anxiety. But if you start to pivot that mindset of like, okay, but what can I benefit from this, or what can I control? What are things that I could take advantage of in the midst of the chaos? That is where the real problem solvers thrive in, right? You don't want to constantly be overthinking about certain things that you don't have control over. It's cool to ponder, it's cool to discuss it, right? The whole conspiracy theories and this and that, and those people control the world. All right, cool. But at the end of the day, it's like, what are you going to do? How is this going to affect your daily life, and how are you going to change your daily life if need be?